There are some animals that have been gone for a while and should never come back. Like, ever. Don't even think about it or you'll be sorry as hell. Here's the list. The Megalodon. This Megalodon is a beast, 59 feet long, making the great white shark look puny with its measly 16 feet. And don't even get me started on the weight difference. This bad boy weighs in at 50 tons, while the great white is just a sad 1. You think it's funny when people tease great whites in their little boat videos? Well, if a Megalodon showed up, there wouldn't be any video, just pure terror. At last, someone might film that crazy ish going down, but you ain't never gonna see it on social media, cause the Megalodon would straight up snack on everyone involved. I mean, check out the teeth on this thing. 7 inches long. That's way bigger than a great white's chompers, and it would hurt like hell if it got a hold of you. And get this, it's got 276 of these things in its mouth. I'm freaking out over here. The Megalodon was the king of the ocean, ruling all the waters until it went extinct 3.6 million years ago. This shark was so widespread that they found its bones all over the globe, except for Antarctica. Damn, with a body that massive, the Megalodon was straight up savage in the water, always on the hunt for something to rip apart. It didn't matter if it was a whale or a big-ass fish, this thing ate everything in sight. Even cute little dolphins weren't safe from its wrath. The Megalodon was so vicious that they found its teeth fossilized in the bones of whales. Talk about a brutal way to go. Listen up, all you lovebirds watching this video. That Megalodon's jaws were 10 feet wide, which means it could easily gobble up 2 people at once. So don't go screaming for nothing if your boo gets chomped, because you're both gonna get wrecked at the same damn time. Like some twisted Romeo and Juliet-ish. The Megalodon vanished because of some crazy climate change, and the fact that its food sources died off or hid out in places where it couldn't reach them. And that was it. Game over for the species. Or so we thought, until some tech wizard and his billionaire homies decided to play God and bring this beast back to life. And you know how it'll finish. Shit will hit the fan real quick in that massive water park for dummies. Phobiromus patersoni. You all know Godzilla, but forget about it, cause now we got Ratzilla up in here. Some boring scientist named it Phobiromus patersoni, but we're just gonna call it Ratzilla, cause it's way cooler. This giant rodent was 10 feet long and weighed 1,650 pounds. That's like a whole squad of rats in one body. And don't even get me started on its tail, which was a massive 3.3 feet long. This bad boy was one of the biggest mammals ever to walk the earth. Now, if you think Ratzilla ain't no threat, you better think again. These beavers already proved they can take down humans, and these Ratzillas had some sharp-ass teeth that could slice you up real quick if you got too close. Plus, rodents are territorial, so if you try to mess with them, they ain't gonna hesitate to teach you a good lesson. Down in South America, the Phobiromus patersoni went extinct like 3 million years ago. And honestly, I ain't trying to mess with one of these giant capybaras. Can you imagine bumping into one of these bad boys in the middle of the night, all pissed off and ready to chomp on your skull? Nah, I'm good. The Titanoboa. This Titanoboa is one bad motherfucker. It'll straight up gobble you down without even flinching. This creepy crawly ain't got no legs, but it slithers on the ground or through water with its massive 46 feet length. That's like the length of a whole damn bus. And don't even get me started on its width, which is a whopping 32 inches. This thing weighs 3,300 pounds of pure terror, enough to scare anyone who's afraid of a little This Titanoboa is the biggest snake ever to exist, and even though it came after the dinos, it was still the top predator on Earth for at least 10 million years. A giant anaconda is just a little twig compared to the monster we're talking about. This bad boy's mouth was so freaking big that a grown-ass man could stand inside it no problem, before getting swallowed whole by the snake's stomach. At that time, there were some big-ass crocs around, way bigger than them Nile crocs we see now, and they were getting wrecked by this beast we're talking about. Even the giant turtle, like Carbonamus, which was almost 10 feet long and weighed a ton, were getting their skulls crushed. And don't even get me started on the primitive mammals. These dudes wanted to live their best life after the dinos bounced, but instead got their limbs ripped off and crushed by this monster. With the Titanoboa, even breathing too hard could be the last thing you do. I mean, do I literally have to spell it out for you? It's a straight up disaster if we brought this thing back to life. It ain't a matter of if this thing's gonna escape, it's just a matter of when. And when it does, it's gonna chomp down on like 3 or 4 zookeepers and then go for the billionaire boss in his helicopter. After that, it's gonna head back to South America where it used to live and straight up murder everything in sight. Dunkleosteus. This fish was like a freaking tank, capable of busting ribs if anything got a little too cocky. Dunkleosteus lived a life that was just as brutal as its badass name implies. This armored terror was around like 100 million years before the useless dinos even showed up, and let me tell you, it was no joke. This thing was 19.6 feet long, weighed a whole ton, and had a mouth that could break your life expectancy and send it back to zero. The jaw was like a straight up smashing machine with 7,000 newtons of force. That's 2 more times enough to break all humans in one blow. Imagine this kind of power. Our bones would be like soft cashew nuts to this thing. This thing was a straight up nightmare. It ain't even got teeth. They're bones that can cut, crush, break, and shatter anything in their way. You mess with this beast and you'll end up dead, and you will shut your mouth forever. Now, you might think that this thing would be slow because of its size, but let me tell you, its mouth could open twice as fast as your eyelid flutter. 1 second you see it, and before you know it, you're already screwed. No waiting in line to join the kingdom of darkness, just a one-way ticket straight there. This armored brute of the ancient oceans didn't take no crap from nobody. Sharks, fish, even other Dunkleosteus that didn't show respect. They all ended up in pieces thanks to this beast. And let me tell you, that armor was no joke. It was so solid that even 100 million years later, it's still perfectly fossilized. This thing was a straight up brute. Gigantopithecus. Gigantopithecus was the biggest ape to ever walk the earth, and it would straight up punch your human face if you got too insolent. This thing stood between 6 and 7 feet tall and weighed around 1,100 pounds and had some serious rage issues. It would punch you without even blinking an eye. In ancient China, people thought its teeth were dragon teeth, but then paleontologists found them last century and realized they were just primate teeth, but way bigger than anything else known to exist, living or extinct. Gorillas are already a symbol of primate power. I mean, a silverback gorilla is like 10 to 20 times stronger than some weak human, but compared to Gigantopithecus, that's like no contest. Just look at the difference in jaw size. Can you imagine what a freaking nightmare it would be if this thing ever got mad at you? This giant Gigantopithecus was still chilling between China and Nam until like 100,000 years ago. And let me tell you, this dude was munching on some serious amounts of plants, herbs, fruits, bamboo, and all that good stuff. Like modern gorillas and orangutans, Gigantopithecus liked to hang out in the forests and weren't too keen on venturing out into the open. That's all good and well when it's warm and humid, but when a big old glacial slap hits like 100,000 years ago and messes everything up real quick, the Gigantos were screwed. They couldn't adapt and survive like some other mammals of the time who moved to better conditions and started chowing down on different things. And that's why even Gigantopithecus's closest cousins, the orangutans, are in danger of going extinct, because their habitats are getting wrecked. And if these Gigantos were brought back to life by some mad scientists and they decided to protect their cousins, they'd probably be smashing some human skulls with trucker slaps as strong as wrecking balls. But hey, that's just me talking. Mega Piranha. All modern day demons seem to have a giant prehistoric cousin, and it's not the symbol of shredding that's going to be missing from this phenomenon. Piranhas these days might not be as dangerous as Hollywood made them out to be. Don't get me wrong, they ain't weak or nothing, but let me tell you about their big cousin Mega Piranha, who lived 6 to 10 million years ago. Oh fucking hell. Mega Piranha was bigger, fatter, and way more dangerous than any piranha you see these days. This thing was like 27 inches long and weighed 22 pounds. That's almost twice as heavy as a modern day piranha. And let me tell you, piranhas ain't nothing to mess with. They roll deep in groups, and if they smell blood, they go straight up psychopathic. But this Mega Piranha, its bite was estimated to be like 4,700 newtons. That's enough to turn your bones into freaking confetti. So sure, modern piranhas might not be as violent and flesh-eating as we once thought, but I ain't about to mess with their ancestors. That's for damn sure. Dinosuchus. Sworn enemy of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Dinosuchus was a monster, a demon, a hell, a killer. Dinosuchus means terrifying crocodile, but it is much more than that. A marine crocodile that's like 23 feet long is maybe the scariest predator on the planet, killing almost 500 humans per year. Picture a version twice as big and 10 times heavier. 1 ton against 10 tons for Dinosuchus. This dude's skull was like 5 feet long, and its teeth? Deadly as at 6 inches each. And that bite? Holy shit, it was insane. Modern crocs may have a strong bite, but they can't even compare to this monster. Like seriously, this Dinosuchus had a bite so vicious that its marks were found on a T-Rex's fossil remains. And let me tell you, they weren't even competitors. The T-Rex was no match for this ancient croc god. It just got snatched by the thigh and dragged into the water like a helpless little prey. Damn, that's some crazy shit. This Dinosuchus was a straight up savage. No herbivore was safe. And Ankylosaurus was a big dude, 33 feet long and 4 tons heavy, but it didn't matter. This croc didn't give a it swallowed him whole with no mercy. And get this, even the herbivores weren't safe. The Hadrosauridae and all their homies got chomped up too. Like damn, they even found bones from these land dinos in the stomach of Deinosuchus. That's some next level shit right there. Don't think you're safe just by stepping out of the water. This Deinosuchus was no joke. Its legs were way longer and slimmer than modern crocs, so it could move on land like it ain't no thing. Unlike those modern crocs who gotta drag their bodies along the ground. So yeah, this dino could walk right up to you, catch you off guard, and drag your ass into the water without breaking a sweat. Don't mess with the croc, y'all. So please, Mr. Scientist, don't even think about bringing this dude back to life. I'm telling you, it's a one-way ticket to the apocalypse. Like seriously, we do not need a Deinosuchus roaming around in the modern world. Deinosuchus disappeared 66 million years ago when the dinos went extinct. Probably because he ran out of things to chow down on. And when you're that big, you gotta eat a lot. Plus, let's be real, this croc was all about that violent life. Like straight up savage. So when there was no more food left, he was like, peace, I'm out of here. Can't blame him though. Saber-toothed tiger. No. I was on the fence about putting this cat on the revive list, but let's be real, bringing it back would be a straight up bad idea. We're talking about Smilodon here, y'all. This beast was around like 2.5 million years ago until only 10,000 years ago, and during that time, it was chomping down on Homo sapiens like it was no big deal. Like for real, Smilodon was probably the deadliest enemy humanity has ever faced, and that's saying something considering our history goes back like 200,000 years in its modern form, and almost 5 million years if you count our ancestors. So nah, let's leave this cat in the past where it belongs. This dude had some serious fangs, like 12 inches long. Holy shit! And he was all muscle, weighing in at 882 pounds, with short but powerful legs. When you put all that together, you got a killing machine that could take down just about anything. He could pierce the neck and throat of his victims with ease. Even us humans weren't safe. But he wasn't just taking out people. He was going after massive herbivores too, and even bringing down young mammoths. Like damn, this guy was not to be messed with. I can't even imagine how many peeps came face to face with this thing with nothing but a stick or their bare hands to defend themselves. Like what are you supposed to do? Just roll over and die? Picture this. You're in a cave with your baby crying from a tummy ache, and then you hear a growl come from the entrance. You start praying to all the gods, spirits, and ancestors, but it's no use. The clouds part, the moon comes out, and you see those big ol' eyes of the Smilodon, perfect for hunting at night, looking right at you and drooling in anticipation. Before you can even scream to warn your peeps, you're already dead, and your group is booking it out of there to save their lives. Congrats to all the homies who came before us and sacrificed their lives so we could survive. You're all the real MVPs. Listen up, scientists. If you decide to play God and bring these monsters back to life, just know that when they break out of their fancy zoo, you'll be the first on the menu. And I ain't gonna lie, me and my crew gonna give you props like, damn, you did all that before we become dino snacks too. Just in case you all gotta do this crazy shit, just make sure you set up that zoo in Australia. That place is already an island full of devilish creatures, each one deadlier than the last.